Dean Talley wear so many business hats. How many hats did you wear in your business career?
More than I can count. I think I need four heads to just to take care of what's going on now. But yeah, I think in the last in the last 35 years, my wife and I have done 9 startups from nothing to conclusion. And so I've worn every hat, every pair of shoes, every pair of pants, and a shirt and no shirt at times. So as we were talking about when we got out of the sauna, I knew I've always been about the marketing side. So that's when we started kind of working with the ACE programs and doing that development project there. And then inevitably that led us to where we are now. And the Smart Tarp company has been like crazy.
Let's talk about it. So when did you start that? How did the idea come? And
we were with the consulting and company that we were doing with Ace Hardware and exterior companies. I got to know a lot of different roofing companies and siding and windows and all that kind of stuff. It really started, and I didn't know a damn thing about it at that particular time. I kind of learned as we went. I knew we had a value, again, identifying an audience and who wants to be in front of that audience. Well, I had the audience of Ace Hardware customers. So who wants to be in front of those customers?
Yeah.
So, and then we became the conduit, right? And so I started hearing just lots of things, about what roofers were pissed off about. And I started to recognize just the reality that, and everybody who's probably listening to your shows knows this, obviously, but roofing isn't about shingles, right? They're sales organizations and lead gen companies. And that's, kind of the way that I looked at it from, not good, bad, or indifferent, but just that, once it's sold, obviously then it's about the installation process and carry through and taking care of those customers. But I just kind of recognized that, what they always were missing was leads and salespeople and, and how to generate more leads and how to generate better quality leads and, all those different types of things. And we had always had, for the last 13 years, a mobile development company called Vanguard Mobile. And it's just a service provider that builds mobile landing pages, and we provided text messaging services and stuff like that for a lot of companies and still do. And so we just kind of looked at that and went, what's out there, what's missing, and that they're not doing. And honestly, I don't know how I landed on a tarp. I honestly don't. I looked at yard signs, I looked at banners, I looked at truck reps. I looked at everything, but there wasn't. There were 100 people doing that already, and so we just started looking at it, and I started just going, wow, there's this space, and I'm all about space, right? What can I do with that space? Can I hang a TV there, right? Can I put a sign there? What can be done? And that was kind of the start of it. And the first year was a mess. My wife and I were creating tarps in our garage in the middle of the summer, while I was still doing the other company. And our first set of tarps, my wife and I were in our driveway. I think our neighbors thought we were a grow house with all the different tarps and everything else we were doing. But it's the middle of the friggin' summer. It's hot as hell. And we've created these first set of tarps for a customer. And my wife is literally crying in the driveway, just bawling. She says, people are going to hate us, and they're going to hate these things too. And I'm like, no, they're not. I promise you. No, they're not. She was just so scared, that, she, obviously,
because you failed before.
Yeah. She's had my ass for, from jump, And so, and the day that their first customer got them, wrote a review. And my wife cried again, but it was happy tears, And now the product's, amazing. But in the beginning, it was rough.
Yeah, Brendel Smart Tarps has all 5-star reviews on Google and your website. What's your secret there? Like, how did you get all 5 stars? Because you don't have complaints.
I don't. And I will say this, that I don't want to sound brash, but I mean, we got a great friggin' product. I mean, we do everything and everything, right? I mean, we process, this year, hundreds of orders. And it's very rare that I don't talk to every single customer and that my wife doesn't talk to every single customer. I mean, we do our best. And again, next year we won't be able to do that. I mean, we expanded into Canada.
Do you still do it in the garage or you?
No. Yeah.
Warehouse now?
Warehouse, two different distribution facilities. We expanded into Canada this year. My goal would be to expand to Australia next year.
Australia?
Yeah.
You think there's a market there for it?
We know there is.
You know
Otherwise we wouldn't do it.
Where in Australia?
We haven't gotten that far yet, but just the research that we've done on hail there is it's nuts.
Really?
I mean, and they destroy, the hail is so big there, they destroy metal roofs.
Everything is bigger in Australia.
I guess so. But yeah, so we'll expand next year, and then also expand into some other product lines. We've got
where does it hail there? What cities? Like what?
Again, it's pretty much everywhere on the. See, now you're going to make me, and I can't remember how we looked at it, but yeah, the primary reason why we looked at it is it's their off season is the on season here, and vice versa.
I see. There so far.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so why not be
We're
busy?
We're going
here
to
right?
Australia next. Have you ever have a customer call to complain about something, and how did you handle it? Like, what kind of complaints you get?
You know, in the beginning, in the first year before Smart Tarps were really what they are today, you know, we had one guy that was like, I thought the graphics were going to be bigger. And I was like, you know, we show you what they are and we tell you what they are. And I don't know. And he felt like we misrepresented to him how big the graphics were. And I said, like, dude, I mean, I don't see that, you know, and it's not like we can take them back, right? I mean, they're made for you. But we still, I don't know if he was happy, but I told him, I said, look, you know, I feel like you signed off on the proof, you know, you had the sizes on it. It says that you understand it. I mean, we want to make sure you understand everything. I'll send you another set of tarps, you know, for cost. You know, this is, and again, the first year, there's no way I could just say, here, take the money back, because we couldn't eat it back then. And, you know, I'm trying to remember if he actually ever let us do that. I don't remember now. But that, and then at one point in time, somebody got one that looked, I think, must have gone over with the cutting machine when they were cutting the tarp. It must have hit one of the blades on the cutting machine before it hemmed, and so there was a slice, and we just sent them another one. So we will. I mean, our tarps are fairly indestructible. Which is great. So we don't have.
Are there like essentially better tarps or just tarps plus print?
We call, again, from a marketing perspective, we call it a smart tarp, right? But it's not made of tarpaulin. It's actually a vinyl coated substrate. So it's puncture proof and tear proof to 135 pounds butterfly. You know, we're triple hemmed on all four sides with industrial brass grommets every 2 feet. I mean, these, if you can picture, you know, an outdoor billboard, how great an outdoor billboard looks for a year. They look brand new, right? And ours do the same thing. I mean, they're tough enough. You can actually take a 200 PSI power washer, spray them down, and they'll look brand new all season. They don't fade. They don't scrape off the ink, none of that. And
so pretty much you're in business of billboards, but on roofing jobs.
More or less, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Who's your competitor? Is this, I'm thinking about Catch-All.
You know, I know we've got, I mean, in the first year, my God, I can't tell you how many times people get on the phone and say, you know, so are you guys Catch-All? I'm just like, no. And I would tell them, you know, I appreciate the comparison. You know, to me, they're really in a different business. You know, the mesh tarps and their system, I think is great for what it does. You know, ours is probably more marketing centric. than theirs might be. Although I know they've tried to do some things once we came into the market with QR codes and stuff like that. But honestly, at this point, we don't. I don't know if anybody wants to go through all the shit that we went through to create the space in the industry. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But we right now, we don't have any size limitations. We don't have any color limitations. We don't have any graphics limitations. We host and provide analytics for our QR codes for our clients for life.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about QR codes results. Like how many people use it? How many people scan?
It's nuts. Because the graphics are so damn big, the scan rates on our tarps are actually 300 times higher than a yard sign or truck wrap. And what's crazy about that, and that's one of the reasons why our clients can use their own QR codes if they want to, but part of the reasons why we like having it is because, we can send you a report every month, or you can call us and ask us for one, and we'll tell you, hey, here's how many unique scans your tarp's got. And I will tell you, you ask how many, we just had, we're looking at Shamrock, Garen Armstrong in Kansas City, one of our top customers, if not our top customer. In the last 4 months, just in Kansas City, they had 186 unique scans and over 90 opportunities to generate new appointments.
Wow.
And that's just in one city.
Wow.
And he's in 13 now. I know we're just creating tarps for him right now.
So the value proposition is not even just a visual branding. It's not a brand awareness. It's actually leads. It's actually
absolutely. And we are very soon. We will actually be bringing in lead gen all the way to the next degree, where those leads will go into a funnel and be parsed out into a whole lead gen funnel that's based off of our tarps nationally, and that'll be happening next year too.
Who do you hate losing business to? Like, do you lose business to?
The hardest part is when people tell me, oh, it's too expensive. And I always go, compared to what? I mean, what are you comparing me to? What do you mean it's too expensive?
How much does it cost? What's your average sale?
I mean, our average sale, our number one selling package is what we call a 2 and 2. It's a combo pack. So it's got 2 16x20s and 2 20x30s. And it runs $18.95. Before the tax and shipping. And part of the reason why it's our top seller is because of the way that we do our graphics. So we don't lay all the graphics on the tarps out the same. So we'll take one of the 16x20s, turn it on its side and make it a 20x16, and do the same thing with one of the 20x30s and lay the graphics out differently. So inevitably at the end of the day, when a customer gets their Smart Tarps, they've got a tarp that's perfect for a single story soffit, a 1.5 story soffit, a two story soffit, and a 2.5. And they've got the right fit, because the one thing we don't want to do is produce graphics that are on the ground, right? Yep. So we want, if you take a 16x20 and turn it on its side, you've got a 20-foot billboard covering the entire front of a house that the graphics are 18 feet by 8.5 feet. And it's kind of hard to not look at that or see it. Our QR codes are so big, they can literally be scanned from 200 yards away.
Wow. Do the people do it from that far?
Well, I know they do, and they do it from farther than that too, and primarily not from a tarp perspective, but if anybody's been to Daytona Beach in the last 5 years, you'll see planes now flying with a QR code banner behind it, and you can literally scan it from the beach.
So what's your biggest difference from Catch-All then? Because Catch-All has, if they do tarps, if they do, I guess their sales pitch is just to protect the garden, because yours does not do that.
Well, I mean, it can, right? I mean, our tarps are breathable. They're not mesh, right? So, but, and if you have I'll just use the example of that 16x20 tarp. If it's a 20x16, we only have graphics that are going 8.5 feet down. You still have 8.5 feet of ground cover tarp left. And so you have ground cover tarp on the bottom, in that regard. The biggest thing, and I joke about it, in some of our marketing, I say, does size matter? And and we joke, we say, she might tell you that it doesn't, but we'll tell you that it does. And it's, look, our graphics have no size limitations. We just did at the beginning of the summer for Watkins, a roofer out of Tennessee. We did tarps for him that were 24 by 48 feet that they ended up using as pool covers because they did have a lot of properties with pools that they do when they do roofs. And he sent us some great drone footage from the top. I mean, it was beautiful. 250 feet up in the air, seeing that their logo just covering an entire pool.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But, and again, Watkins is a prime example. They use catch-alls, they use an equipter, and they use us. And we have a lot of companies. We just did a reorder for a company called Holloway Roofing out of Virginia, James Holloway. They just, same thing. He
Use it all.
Yeah, the email he sent to just literally 2 days ago before I came to see you was that they have smart tarps and catch-alls in every one of their equipters for all of their teams. And so, look, there's a place and a purpose for all of it, right? Catch-all really doesn't have anything for two-story. They're pretty much a single-story process. And, and then the size, right? I mean, I think their QR codes are 47 inches square. I don't know. Their banners, I don't know. But, yeah, that's the primary difference. I think it's, like I said, I think it's a good product.
Are your tarps copyrighted, or do you have...
We're trademarked and patent pending, yeah.
So what's the patent about? Like, what's stopping people to do the same thing, and how can you protect your...
The biggest thing is the equipment that it takes to do it. Yeah, which is...
So equipment, but people can buy equipment, so it's not...
Nobody wants to spend $250,000 to print tarps for the roofing industry.
What's the patents for?
The patents are mechanical in nature, in design.
Have you ever dealt with a patent or copyright challenges to your products?
Not as of yet. Not as of yet. I'm sure it will come as time goes on. As the bigger you get, the more you get. It's always part of the.
But I like that mentality. I mean, there's enough work for everyone. I love that roofers use catch-all and this because two different purposes, two different tools.
Yeah,
makes sense. What was your most unexpected challenge with Smart Tarps to get it off the ground?
Figuring out that I didn't know a damn thing about running an e-commerce company. Nothing whatsoever. And I know, and I'm sure
what was the hardest?
I guarantee you there'll be some comments here. So when we first started, I mean, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. So all I did was get up in the morning and start spamming into Facebook forums for roofers. Just throwing in, my God, I got cussed out and just talked down to, and I mean, just broke down by these dudes.
Facebook roofing groups are tough.
Damn.
If you try to sell to roofers on a Facebook group, that's not what the forums are for.
Dude, I got my ass beat day in and day out. My wife would go to bed and I would be at our dining room table with my laptop going, and I had one of the first videos that I did, because look, when I wore a suit every day, right? Not with a tie, but with a suit every day. So one of the first videos that I did, I was in a suit, and I'll never forget. Oh my God, dudes were like, "So we got guys wearing suits in the roof, trying to get in the roofing industry now?" And I'm like, "Jesus Christ, what can I do here?" Oh my God, it was rough. I'm surprised I didn't go into bed and get in a fetal position. I mean, they just beat my ass down, Dimitri. It was terrible.
No, I feel you. I see it all the time. Roofers are, and you can't please them. Like no matter what you do, people will always find something to complain. And my latest video, I just did a video with the estimate experts guy. So this guy supplements insurance companies. Man, I've been called sellout. I've been called, like his competitors are trashing me. It's like, oh, you're seeing in the roofing industry because, I promote a brand. Like, I'll promote you probably, but, podcast is a podcast, but
Yeah.
no, like it's if they feel like you're selling, but selling the suit in a Facebook group,
Dude.
I,
Now I will say I learned, right? We learned how to do it
how to
better.
dress.
But yeah, I don't wear suits anymore. But still, I mean, every day, we have roofers who send us pictures, of our tarps and everything else. And our social media, systems are posting stuff, and once, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, somebody says, and not a safety belt in sight. Oh, did they really do that? And I'm like, dude, I sell freaking tarps. Those aren't my guys, right? But I'll tell you what, I'll let them know your concerns, and because we appreciate that. But yeah, so I mean, now I don't care, right? So, but when we were first starting, it was rough.
Why do you think roofers behave like that? I mean, you know a lot of roofers
Yeah.
in your network. Like, how do you describe them? Why they are like that?
You know, one, I will say that because I think of roofing companies as sales organizations, there's something to be said. They don't want to get sold because
Yeah.
that's what they do, right?
Sure.
And so I think there's just some stuff, that's where I kind of get it from. But I will say this too. I've noticed that a lot of times now when somebody makes some stupid or derogatory comment, when you go back and you look at the profile, they've got, 7 friends and, and no posts. And, it's just like, I feel really bad for you, dude. I mean, if this is where you're at, and I triggered you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but who knows why people do what they do and say what they say, maybe their dad didn't hug them enough or acknowledge them or something. I don't know. But I will tell you this, I've had we've had just some really great relationships with.
Describe your best customers, people who get it, who buy again and again,
Yeah.
how they use it, because I noticed, 5-10% of my customers are the best of the best. And and people usually who pay you the most are the best customers. It's people who you give the biggest discount.
The biggest pain in the ass every time. I have this conversation with my son who owns a tile setting business and my daughter who's a multi-million-dollar real estate agent. And with my son especially, when he first started, he would call and say, I'm going to do this job, but man, I'm going to have to do it so cheap. I'm not going to make any money. And I'm like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's going to cost you money.
They,
It's going to cost.
they will never appreciate it. It's the people who you give the most of your time, the best deal, the hardest work, and those will never respect you.
Yeah, my wife and I, when we have this discussion, we were a little more blatant with it. It's the ones that you bend over backwards for that you end up having to bend over forwards for.
Yeah.
I mean, it never fails. But
And people who pay the most, they're the easiest to deal with, easiest to please.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just-
But I'll tell you, like Southern Premier Roofing and Holloway Roofing and Shamrock Roofing and, oh my God, North Star. I mean, there's so many. I mean,
do you feel like it's their mentality, is their mindset, how they look at business, that abundance almost like, because I feel like people like that, they pour into others. It's not about themselves. They're not selfish.
Yeah.
They look at business, let's collaborate, let's raise everyone's up. And they always have plenty. It's people who, I don't want to be sold, leave me alone. They always stay small.
Yeah, yeah. We've been so fortunate. We have tons of companies that reorder, and a lot of them, it's not because the tarps have worn out. It's because they're growing, and that's the coolest part, right? When somebody says, "Hey, we're putting on 3 more crews. I need 3 more sets," or "I'm expanding to here." Southern Premier is one. I mean, I think he's in 6 states, and every time he opens a new state, he calls and he's like, "Hey, I need 18 tarps, or I need 25 tarps," or Shamrock buys a ton from us.
So they're obviously getting a lot of business out of it.
The return on investment. From day one, most of our guys get the money that they spend with us back the first day they put them up.
Yeah. You get one job, you're done.
That's it.
So you failed before. Have you have moments when you thought you're gonna fail this one too?
Not this one.
But it was
Um,
start going for the first couple jobs.
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the first summer we didn't do nothing. For
But it
the
was proof of concept.
Yeah, we had proof of concept. We knew it was working. I mean, even when we were putting out what I would consider to be not our best work, we were still having reorders.
Mm.
And so we knew we had it. And what we talked about it again outside of the sauna, where it's hard for some folks to continue to work out if you don't have something to work out to.
Mm-hmm.
And right now with the Smart Tarp company, we've got so much stuff that doesn't even have it's connected to the tarps but isn't tarps that we're going to bring that's just going to blow people's minds. I mean, we're going to create some things that are just going to be like, what the hell? And so that for me, we know where we're going, and we know, I wouldn't have expected us to be where we're at in 2 years. It's crazy stupid. This isn't what I expected. I thought this was going to be a side hustle, and now we're pushing our capability volume wise at this point.
Can you name one lesson? Like you mentioned that, you were stupid, ego early on, but what was the number one lesson that you learned in business? Maybe through a failure, maybe before you file a bankruptcy. Like, what was the lesson that you know now and you would teach others? Don't do it.
There's two things. One, just because you see it one way doesn't mean that that's the only way it can be seen.
Mm.
We're brought up, and our experience kind of determine our perceptions and how we view things. And most of us literally view things, this is how we see it, and we interpret it in a specific way. And and because most of us are built that way with really limited perspective, our ego tends to get in the way and controls whether or not we see it from another perspective. And I wrote a training course when we were developing salespeople called Plow Through Life, which is plan, leverage, optimize, and will. It's actually what my license plate says. And the challenge that you have I know what was for me is just my ego and thinking that I knew everything. And when we think you know everything, you can only see things one way. And so you don't step around it, right? If this microphone is the problem, the challenge, or whatever it might be, and you only see it this way, you don't go, oh, well, if I'm standing over here, does it look any different? If I'm standing over here, does it look any different? Does it stand over here? And now it's, coaching and mentoring, all of these things are a much bigger part of, the process, right? I mean, when I was coming up, you had Tony Robbins, and I've done that. I've walked across hot coals, did all that 20 years ago, right? And
Did it influence you? Did it change you?
hugely,
Really?
hugely, yeah. And
What did it give to you? Like I noticed so many people give credit to Tony Robbins.
for me at that time, it was breaking through. I came up. I mean, I feel like might need to lay down now. With needing my father's approval and all of that kind of stuff, and that awaken the giant within the 3-day process that he has was a huge burden lifted off to me for that, and gave me the ability to reach out that olive branch to my dad before he was murdered, which I thank God for every day. And that was really a big thing that Tony did for me. But the biggest thing, to sum up your question, is just freaking ask. You can't do it by yourself. I mean, I thought I could forever,